Here I am sitting here in my seat and I want things. I want all sorts of things. Mainly I want to be happy and content, just like everyone else. Looking back over the process, I think it's helped me to realise the value of working with other people, to not judge instantly who can help me and who can't, and that sometimes there are people who I would never have come across in my everyday life because they're so different to me in terms of their backgrounds, their age, the problems they've had to face. And I've realised that really you can learn from people you wouldn't expect to learn from, and to not close off other people and that I don't know everything. So 9 months ago I was very much alone. I'd decided that other people were just an unnecessary risk for being traumatised again, so I didn't trust anyone. I was at the point where I doubted if anything could help me. That's how desperate I was, where you've been through hospitalisations repeatedly and you've seen professors, psychiatrists, been right to the top of mental health care, and you've come out and not been okay. I just thought, no one can help me, I can't help myself, and really, can I improve? I thought I'd been through everything, so no one can help me. And so why would I need to work in a group with other people, and what could I gain from that? Really, I was quite closed off. I knew very little about the project before I showed up. I just knew that it was something to do with dance and an artist. I didn't know what kind of workshop it would be. I didn't know there was going to be a live performance come out of it at the end. And I didn't have any expectations, but I was that desperate for help that I was going to try things that were offered to me. I didn't know if I wanted to take part. In the first session, I think I just picked up that there was someone professional in the room and that there was support for us in whatever was going to happen next. And also there wasn't a pressure in the beginning in terms of outcome. I just picked up on the fact that it might be good for me to do something that was different. I was stiff in the beginning. I didn't want to move at all, but I've learnt that it's okay to go up and do things despite the fact that I feel bad about my body, and to just put that to one side, and that sometimes you get a massive payoff by doing that. First of all, working with Charlotte was interesting. I'd never have had an opportunity to be involved with anything to do with theatre in my life. And so yeah, it was learning. And I think I wouldn't have been able to commit to the project if I hadn't seen some of the previous works and had respect for what she was doing and trying to communicate in general. So yeah, it's been a privilege. For me, a major thing was seeing touch as a threat. I just didn't want to be part of that at all. And I did question whether I even wanted to challenge that, because my feeling was so strong about, is that necessary? Do I really need to? But I think that if you're a person who closes down to someone who wants to just dance with you, and that it's not an attack, and in your mind you're allowing your past to dictate how you view people who aren't part of that past, I realised I had to think very seriously about it. And I realised I don't want to judge everyone in my life on the basis of the worst people in my past. And so, yeah, it was time and patience, and it was also the fact all of us as a group, wanted to get through it. Before, my body was definitely a dangerous place to be, having had traumas and eating disorders as well. That's still difficult for me. I think, being realistic, it's always going to be difficult for me. But I never thought I could make the progress I did do during the past 9 months to have a safe place to get back in contact with myself as a whole. So I was just running away from my body, running away from my mind. I definitely felt I'd been out of my body for a long time before this project, and I'd had to be to survive, and it was about realising, well, now I'm in a different place and it's okay to start coming back to my body. And I think that now, even though I'm not always going to be in a great place, I have a different respect for myself, and I'm much more able to say what's okay and what's not. I can't wash him off me. I tried to erase him with the next man, the next man, the next. His hands, his dirt. I think because the project was so long and I was given time, there was definitely a readiness in me to face how I was functioning and to try and change it, but with the understanding and the patience that I was shown, and the fact that I was on the journey with other women as well, and we had things in common with what we wanted to face, and we could go away afterwards and talk about how difficult things were. And I think I was tired of living how I was, so I was ready for someone to come in with their perspective of how a theatre functions, how dancers function, and what's normal to them, and realise how far away I was from people who are comfortable moving around in their bodies, and to challenge myself with the help of other people. Some of the themes that came out were sexual abuse, dysfunctional families, losing children, domestic violence. And in this project, it allowed me to, not by myself, but with everyone involved, to say it's okay to start playing around with those things, like touching them as a subject, and then maybe going a bit deeper with exploring them as a theme. And by the time I got to performing, it wasn't actually about me, it wasn't personal anymore, and it was about, I'd had to disconnect from what I was feeling and then reconnect with the stuff in a healthier way to deal with performing it. So by the time I was performing it, I was feeling, but it wasn't on my behalf, it was on behalf of what I was trying to communicate. So the scene in the show where I crawl out from under the table and people are telling me to get up, it came about quite late on in our process. So by that time, I was doing quite well and I was feeling strong and resilient. And also it didn't feel like how it was seen. That's not how it felt to be in the scene. It wasn't personal, I knew everyone. And yeah, we were acting, it didn't feel like how it looked. It's allowed me to talk about things that I might not have had an opportunity to, and to be allowed to reframe them really helped me to put some things to bed and start moving forward. Heavy breathing, like oil on a seabed. My mental health has changed a lot over the course of the past 9 months. I've challenged some ideas I had about myself. I've reconnected with the strengths that I had to in order to perform on a stage. Words like birth, reject, repeat, birth, reject, alone. My confidence in myself, my abilities. I've learned the value of working with people and that maybe sometimes it's a good idea to trust people. And I've learned tools that are going to help me within my, not just my recovery from substance misuse, but mental health as well. Resilience, learning that difficult things and mental health diagnoses don't have to rule my life, and that I can do things anyway, even if I have those issues.
Give me all that you've got. Give me all that you've got. I'll take it anyway.
It's helped me to challenge my view of how strong I am and my ability to cope with whatever's going on for me. So that's very powerful, because it means that if I get a challenge from my own mental health, instead of immediately going downhill with it, I can think about what can I do to improve this, because I feel more powerful. We breathe. I mean, I guess as a concept, I'd see my resistance as my enemy, and then me saying to it, like, you're not going to rule the rest of my life or get in the way. The cost we paid in full. Not that it's laughter or that happy ever after stuff, just bits of hope, to cope, to bend, not break, to reach, not ache, to weave and breathe.